Hello everybody, and welcome back to Another Life Worth Living. We are going to be talking about how to draw different types of hair. Now, from this chart, you can clearly see that there are 12 major types of hair, which there are 4 major types, and then there are 3 versions of each type of hair. So what you see me working on here is the type 1, which will be the straight hair. Generally, this hair is going to be pretty flat to the head. You won't see much deviation in terms of the pattern, but there might be, like bedhead straight hair would be kind of like version C. And then type 2 will be a wavy hair, and it's just subtle, not quite curly, but right in between the straight and curly. Then you have type 3, which is going to be just curly, those ringlet curls, really big bouncy curls. And then you have type 4, which is the more extreme textured, like afros and puffs. There's a little bit of texture in there in terms of curls, but it's mostly texture rather than a curl. So those are the 4 types of hair. I honestly group 3 and 4 together because you're just making the curls smaller and smaller and smaller as you get to a coil where it's just more texture than curls. So moving on into more detail on straight hair or type 1 hair, you're going to see that straight hair has a lot less volume. It's going to be quite flat to the head, not like, stuck to the head, but there won't be much volume outside of the head. And then you will also have, here you can see in this picture, the hair is quite flat to where the actual head is. Like there's a little bit of volume because there will be volume with straight hair, but there's not as much. And honestly, I'd say this is a happy medium between A and 1. So that is kind of the big thing with straight hairs. You want to make sure there's not too much volume because it will look quite strange on the head. Also, another thing you want to take in consideration is the highlights. Considering that there's not as many bumps in the hair, you won't see as many highlights. You're kind of only going to see highlights here where the head rounds down, and then it'll be pretty much unhighlighted unless maybe it goes over the shoulder. So you'll definitely notice in type 2 that there's going to be a whole lot more volume because the hair is moving in a wavy motion. There's going to be more texture there, which creates more volume. And with wavy hair, you also want to make sure you remind yourself that there are different types of wave. I'd say the wave that I chose is somewhere between A and C, just about a B, but it also, I feel like, is a little more closer to version A. And that's why I kind of take more in consideration. Yes, version A will be less voluminous than version C, but it will still be generally the same texture. And also you want to make sure you remind yourself this is not going to be like straight hair. The highlights on straight hair is kind of only one note. Now with wavy hair, because there are more waves and more dips in the hair, you will see highlights on the most outer curls. So I think 2 sets of highlights are pretty good for wavy hair. You don't want to overdo it because, again, if you don't shape out the hair correctly, you can make your highlights look really funky and wonky. So to sum it up, type 2 is going to have more volume. Now to sum up type 3, there are many types of curly hair. I chose a more coil type of curly hair, and I gave it a lot more volume, as you see, because the hair is coiled in a lot closer and there's still the same amount of hair follicles on the head. You're gonna see a significant raise, not only from the hair off of the scalp, but the hair off of the shoulders. You're gonna see a whole lot more volume. One thing you should also take note is highlights are going to be a little less tamed, like on example 1 and 2, or straight and wavy. The reason why is because the curly hair is already kind of almost an afro. There is no one specific place for the highlights to reach, so it's more going to be sporadic. But that is going to be all I have for you guys today. This is how I've drawn the 3 different types of hair. I hope you guys understand everything, and if you guys do want to see how I draw faces or how I draw bodies, I will link those right here above, and I will see you guys next week. Bye!